Hi, James Harrison here to talk about the next Daily Drumming Influences Revisited, originally posted in 2012. And today, on March 2nd, my birthday, my favorite drummer of all time is Steve Smith, and he's the drummer of the day. I first became aware of Steve Smith with the album Evolution by Journey. One of my favorite albums they ever did, and just something about the drumming and the sound of the drums, the spacing of the fills. It was like a lot of ways the way Neil Schon plays the guitar. Sometimes he'll throw a barrage of notes, but it seems very spacious. And Steve Smith's drumming seems spacious, but if you listen, there's a lot of little things going on there sometimes that make it sound great. And I had been a fan of Ainsley Dunbar with Journey, but when Evolution came out, the sound of the drums was so big and so different, and I really liked it. And when they did the Captured album, which is the first album I bought on CD, I had the album, I bought the CD. My first CD was Journey Live, Captured. The sound of the drums on that is incredible, and the spacing of the flams are so fat and spread apart that it just creates great tension. And that was something I really liked about Steve Smith's drumming. I felt like he created a groove, but he created this tension that, especially with the slower ballads, I just liked it. The space between the notes was so great. And then I think it was a friend of mine named John Collar that turned me on to the Enigmatic Ocean album by Jean-Luc Ponty. And when I heard that and Steve Smith's fusion drumming, it just blew me away. I was like, wow, this guy can do it all. And then, of course, he played some tracks. He played on Bryan Adams. He played the tune Heaven. He had done some different tracks with other artists. He did the Shrapnel Records heavy metal stuff with Tony McAlpine, and he's running double bass here 1 minute. He's doing like his own jazz thing with Vital Information 1 minute, and of course he went on to Steps Ahead, and then the Journey stuff and Jean-Luc Ponty. I was like, wow, this guy does it all, and he does it all well. But what I really liked about him was the way that he hit the drums and the sound that he got. Now Steve has evolved. And I don't know him personally. I've met him a couple of times, shook his hand, had a picture made once, had an autograph. But I don't know him personally. But I remember reading an article about him where he said that he thought of like drumming as being an athlete, and you have to train and constantly evolve. And he has done that by studying and continuing to study and do different things. Now, that being said, I've got a book that he's written on drumming. I think it's called Pathways in Motion. He's done so many different things, and his drumming style has changed quite a bit. And I will say this, and this is not a slam in any way, I had seen Journey a couple times early on with Steve Smith, and the drive, the feel, the way he was hitting the drums, it was so exciting, it was energetic and unbelievable. The last time I saw Journey live with Steve playing the drums, he'd come back a few years ago, it was tremendous, but it did not have the same drive and the same feel. He was playing much more laid back and whatnot. And it was great, but it wasn't that energy that it had early on. But he had been through a whole entire evolution of playing different drumming styles. And I think that between that and his evolution, he brought that back to Journey. And again, it sounded great, but it wasn't quite the same drive that I had seen with him with Journey earlier. But he's still my favorite drummer. And he's been an inspiration. I mean, I tried to copy so many things that he did. He's the one that got me playing eighth notes with my left foot while I'm playing other grooves because I had seen and heard him do it so much. And I copied and stole ideas with different bands I was in, with different recordings I would do. So much of it was Steve Smith influenced. So he's definitely the drummer of the day, and probably my favorite drummer of all time, and somebody you can still listen to this day and just be going, wow, he can do so much. He's done drum solos where he takes a theme and develops it, stealing ideas from Max Roach or something like that. So again, he has done so much. I think he even did a video or a thing about standing on the shoulders of the giants or the greats, and he did, I guess you would call it solos or styles based on the drumming heroes of his. And by exploring one person, let's say if he picked out Tony Williams, then he would go to, well, who were Tony Williams' influences and investigate that. And of course, that's the secret of drumming. We never know who influenced who we find to be tremendous. But to me, the drummer for the day, the drummer, probably the most inspirational drummer in my life, is Steve Smith. Originally from Journey, or he actually played with Freddie Hubbard, did some jazz stuff, and actually played with Montrose and was opening for Journey, and that's how they became aware of him. But if he's put it on record, I probably have it. Posters, you name it, I've got a ton of Steve Smith stuff. Favorite drummer of all time. And the drummer for the day, on my birthday, March the 2nd, Steve Smith.